Pixie Hollow is a very special place. Did you know that every day you can see fairies come to life in the Magic Kingdom at the Walt Disney World Resort in Florida and at Disneyland in California? And now every spring, there's a brand new experience at the Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival, the Pixie Hollow Fairy Garden.
So we're here for the dedication of the garden representing Pixie Hollow. It's a pretty neat experience to actually be here and see your movie come to three-dimensional life. There's lots of little moments. There's character personality. There's the color of the film that also comes through. There's lots of great moments from our film.
You know, there's topiaries in the garden of each of the characters, and they're really meticulously done. They're very accurate to the characters, and so my first impression was, wow, a tremendous amount of work has gone into this, and we thought we'd show you how this all came together.
The making of Pixie Hollow Fairy Garden at the Epcot Flower and Garden Festival.
Putting this garden together was a great collaboration between the filmmakers at Disney Toon Studios and our horticulturists here at Epcot.
Pixie Hollow is a magical place that exists in Neverland. The Neverland that we know from Peter Pan. It's a very small area by human standards. It's a very large area by fairy-sized standards.
The design.
Fairies are very involved in nature and in creating magical things that we witness and see in nature. So we came and we met with the designers at Disney World, looked at the plans, talked about some of the elements that could be involved and integrated in the garden. What we can do is share things about the movie that we think lend themselves well to creating an experience.
In the movie, the animators used plants so effectively, and it was such a big part of the movie. What we decided to do was create the small topiaries of each of the fairies and then present them in different ways. Surround each one of them individually with her own theme of flowers, her own color family.
Rosetta's stone that she's mounted on are these really pretty burgundy shamrocks. And then around Iridessa, we have these real yellow ones.
Fairies and nature.
The characters in our movie, Iridessa, Fawn, Silver Mist, Rosetta, they're all connected to nature in significant ways. Fawn is an animal fairy. Iridessa is a light fairy. Rosetta is a garden fairy. Silver Mist is a water fairy. And so it's perfect for the garden.
When picking the plants for Pixie Hollow, I think the most important thing to us was the theming of the color, because it's so critical that each one of those little fairies has her own vignette, and the color represents that fairy.
Fawn is an animal fairy, and we've chosen earth tones, oranges and browns for Fawn.
Iridessa is a light fairy who wears basically a sunflower dress, and her pigment is yellows, bright colors, oranges, creams. Silver Mist, for Sean and I, definitely is one of the more popular fairies, just because I think of her aquatic background. She's a water fairy. Her color palette is more in blues and silvers, and also creams and whites.
Rosetta's a garden fairy. She's very proper, and she loves beautiful things, and particularly roses.
Bringing it to life.
My favorite part is we can actually take a character out of a movie and recreate that in plant material and dried materials and bring that personality to life. We're going to be doing fairies from the new Tinkerbell movie, and it's so exciting. They're so cute. We use the DVDs from the movie and freeze and print a cell. After we choose the pose, we have a maquette made. A maquette is actually a wire armature, and then clay is sculpted on that armature. And a resin is poured in there, cleaned up, and that's what we use to get the frame made. After the framework is done, irrigation system needs to be put inside of this topiary. After all this is done, we start the process of planting. The whole time we're fertilizing, we're pinning, we're pruning, and sculpting this out of live plant material. It's challenging for us because of them being so miniature. We're used to working on huge topiary. This is going to be really small, fine, detailed character work. It's a lot of work, but we really enjoy it.
Patting it all together.
I often get asked how many people does it take, and I don't really have time to come up with an answer to that. There's so many. I would say there's easily 1,000 people that get involved in one way or the other with the festival. We started construction of Pixie Hollow on March 3rd, and it had to be completely done by March 16th. This meant that our crews had to work round the clock to get the garden ready.
All set.
You know, Tinkerbell is a tinker fairy, and she likes to collect real-world things. And oftentimes it's combining real-world items that she has found with natural elements.
We're bringing to life some of the props from the Tinkerbell movies into the fairy garden. We have Tinkerbell's house, which of course is made out of a teapot, and it has lots of organic plants and seeds and leaves all around it. We have Tinkerbell's cotton ball balloon, where she flies to find the lost treasure. We have an abacus that kids can actually work and show, just like that they used in the movie. We have some wind chimes. We have the story of the moonstone for kids to actually touch and see what is a moonstone, what does it look like.
Fairies are born of a baby's first laugh. What's been done in the garden is they've added some audio to enhance the experience, and when you walk into the garden you hear a baby laugh, and it suggests that maybe a fairy has just been created. It's important for us to have lots of beauty in the film, and a lot of that beauty centers around nature. The opportunity for people to experience that beauty is great, and hopefully it will just give people an appreciation of that.
I hope people, after they visit the garden, will come away with not only a sense of awe, but just truly being inspired by what they see.
You know, fairies are all around us. In fact, if you look close enough, you may even see one today.
Going to